Hello, everybody. I am so excited. We're live on the air. I'm live on the air. I'm used to doing hangouts with more than one person, so I'm used to saying we. But I want to thank you guys. I see we do have a couple of viewers on, and probably will be getting a little bit more trickling in throughout the hour. And some of you may be watching this live, and some of you are going to be watching it recorded. And I'm guessing most of you will be watching this recorded. But I do have my trusty phone with me, so if you guys have any questions or comments throughout, go ahead and send me a tweet. I have my Twitter handle right there. So just go ahead and send me a tweet if you have any questions or anything throughout. And I want to thank you guys for hopping on because, it's there's a lot of people out there who do marketing trainings and seminars and that sort of thing, and the information is in abundance. So I thank you guys for taking your time out of your Wednesday evening and joining me, because I know that, one, your time is precious and you're all very busy, especially if you're watching sales and marketing video. That means that you are a business person or you're doing something and you're busy. So I thank you guys for joining me. I will promise I will stop saying me or us. Forget it. So, but why do you want to listen to me? The answer will be on you guys, because some of you are going to benefit from what I'm going to share with you today. Some of you aren't, and it depends on where you are in your business, where you are in your career, and I'm going to share with you some techniques, some changes that are happening in the sales and marketing world, this industry that is humongous. And at the end of this 1 hour, you're either going to say, you know what she said was complete crap, or you're going to walk away with something, and I'm hoping it's the latter. And I wanted to just share a little bit about myself before I jump into some of the stuff that's happening. I am an author, a novelist. I'm a freelance journalist and a copywriter. I've been in sales and marketing for, I want to say, over 15 years. I started my first business when I was 16 years old, and that was 20 years ago. So I've been in sales and marketing for at least 20 years, because if you're a business owner, you're in sales and marketing because you're trying to sell your business. And purchased my first real traditional company, I think I was 19 to 20 years old. So I've been doing this for a little while. It's been quite the journey, and I've had a lot of ups and downs. I've had made a ton of mistakes, more so than probably the average person. But I'm still here today and have some success to speak for it. So with that, I want to just jump into the first thing I talked about. And if you guys were watching or follow me on Facebook, then you know I kind of woke up this morning with a really bad migraine. And I get a migraine maybe once or twice a year, if even that. And today happens to be the day that I got a migraine. And I'm like, great, the one day I'm broadcasting, there's a big issue. But fortunately, I am much better, and I don't know if I will be coherent because I've taken a couple of painkillers. So bear with me. If you are following me on my blog, thebloggoddess.com, then you're probably getting your email subscriptions from me. If you aren't getting email subscriptions from me, I highly recommend going to thebloggoddess.com, because once you subscribe to my blog, you get a free marketing PDF. It's kind of how to improve your marketing. I think it's a really great PDF. It's kind of an overall on how to help your voice and that sort of thing. And it's totally free. All you have to do is sign up on my blog, thebloggoddess.com. And if you do get my email, then you know that one of the things I said I was going to talk about tonight is I'm going to talk about the change in the voice in the industry. And the change in the voice in sales and marketing, if you are not aware of what's going on, then you're going to be falling behind and you're going to lose out. What is the voice? The voice is how people are marketing today. And if you look at marketing, let's say 100 years ago, it was very straightforward. It was, you maybe had people walking around and actually literally selling from their coats, but selling from, what are those, like Stagecoach? Not Stagecoach, it wasn't. Literally selling from these like soapbox moments. They would stand on something, street corners, and they would literally pitch a sales. And the reason why it worked 100 years ago is because people weren't familiar with the technique. Of course, social media didn't exist, the internet didn't exist, television didn't exist 100 years ago. Yeah, television didn't exist yet. You barely had the radio, and so people could sell things, and there wasn't a big, how do you feel, like a way to spread rumors about salespeople. So people would walk by on the street, and they would see somebody standing on the street corner selling something, and chances are they would actually listen because they were inundated with sales. Because what's happened in the last 100 years is that now we're all connected. The fact that, this is no longer a street corner. I am literally sitting in my bedroom right now talking to people from around the world, and you guys are listening. There's no street corner, but this thing is available by the masses. There are other YouTubers. There are other people blogging. There's other people marketing things. And what happens is that information spreads rapidly. It goes viral. And viral is a word I think most people are probably familiar with nowadays. It's funny because 20 years ago, viral was a very negative word. It was literally, all it was talking about was if you're sick or you're viral, it was a disease. Today, people think viral, the first thing they think about is a YouTube video going viral. Oh, this one viral. So it's a very strong word, and it just shows how the sales and marketing world can change in such a short period of time. What is the voice of today? It's changed a lot in just the last 10 years. I'm seeing a lot of people still implementing sales techniques from 10 years ago, not realizing that it's changed already that much in the last 10 years. One of the main things is that people are kind of taking a step back. They're regressing in the way that they need to communicate with people. We are so inundated with sales today that individuals don't hear or see the sales techniques anymore. I was going back to the old ways of just talking to people, having one-on-one conversations, really getting to know their client, their audience, and being themselves. And that's the voice of today. One of the things I've seen on Facebook recently is I've seen people sending out invites by the masses, and they're headlines that say something like how to earn $3,000 in a day, how I got 400 leads in 20 days, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. Nobody cares what you've done. And that's the cold, hard fact. Nobody cares what your history is, because they don't want to know what you've done, because people automatically, you did it. You're a salesperson. How am I going to do it? So, and even though you're saying nobody's going to listen to you, these catchy headlines, I think, are they're doing the complete opposite. People are ignoring really fast. They're declining if they're even getting the invites. I think most people aren't even getting these invites on Facebook or Google Plus or whatever it is. They're ignoring the catchy headlines. They don't care. They see 100 of them a week. They're not interested in what you're selling because that's what they know. They know you're selling something. I've had people where I am even afraid to post things on Facebook. This morning I posted, and I had people messaging me, inboxing me, I'm going to send you this product, it's going to help you, it's this blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? They are literally like these snake oil salespeople from 100 years ago, opening their coats. They have all these little vials of magic potions and pills, and they're saying, I'm going to send this to you, and you're going to love it. How many of you have tried some of these products that people said are absolutely going to work, and it didn't? In fact, for these products not to work than they are to work. So what happens is now people have created this wall because they said, well, yeah, I've had people send me stuff before and it didn't work. Now they have a wall up. They don't want to hear it anymore. They don't want to try any products. They don't care. They don't want it because they're afraid that you're going to turn around. You love it, and if you say no, they're going to try to close you. And people are still doing this, and it's something that's 10, 15, 20 years old. It's a marketing technique that's old and shouldn't be done anymore. And it's a little insane how inundated the marketplace is with these headlines and these scripts that are out there. There was this one company, names, because it doesn't matter what company it was, but I literally was getting every Monday afternoon invites, and they literally all had the exact same headline on it. I don't remember what it was, and it was every Monday afternoon because they had a webinar Monday evening, and of course everybody was inviting everybody. Facebook back then let me ignore people and not let them send any more invites, and I was literally every Monday ignoring, which they don't allow you to do that anymore, which is actually because I'm still getting these invites. I send out invites as well, but just try to keep it to a minimum. Don't send them out 3, 4, or 5 times a week. Send them out maybe once or twice a month and try to change it up. Make it personal. I don't send out invites of me trying to sell something. You know, it's maybe a book signing, or maybe it's, you know, an actual event that I want people to, if this where it's free information that I think will help people out, and I want to have them have access to it. So that's kind of the information I want to share because the voice is changing in the industry. If you guys have anything specifically, I'm checking my tweets because I know I just got a few. If you guys have anything specifically that you've experienced that you think is something that falls under the old way of marketing, send me a message real quick. Like I said, my Twitter handle is right here. Send me a tweet real quick because I'm curious to see what is happening out there, what kind of things. All of us are getting the same thing. I know not all of us are getting the same thing. Some people are more annoyed than others. Let me see this one message I just got. I'm not going to say who are sending me these messages unless you actually want me to. So the question is, okay, so somebody says they're actually getting messages. They're tired of their news feed. So they're tired of their news feed because guessing their news feed is, you know, you guys are seeing all these where people are posting whatever it is about their business, whatever it is they're selling, whatever it is. That's all they're doing, and what's happening is people are going and they're unfollowing these people, even if they're their friends, and all of a sudden your message isn't getting out to nobody because people have unfollowed you. You guys, but I think that's the opposite of what we want to happen, and what we have to do and be real human beings. People find out what's going on in people's questions. How are you is a great question to ask, and just remember to ask it without any motives, because I get messages and you're just counting time, ticking the seconds, waiting for them to pitch them. It's absolutely insane. That helps answer any questions as far as the messages that I wanted to talk about as well is something that I've used, and I was taught this about 15 years ago. Let me just take a sip of water before I start this next topic. But I was taught this about 10 years ago, and I've been using it for 10 years, and it's literally changed the way I do my business. And this goes back to having conversations with people. And if you're doing email marketing or if you're doing internet marketing, it makes it a little bit harder to do. But there are ways to do it. You can still do it through your blog. You can still do it through YouTube. More creative in how you get this message out. And it's called FORM, F-O-R-M. It's something that it's absolutely changed my business. And if you guys want to write it down, go ahead and write it down. F-O-R-M. It's called FORM. You're forming people. It's my absolute favorite way to build a bridge and trust with individuals. And the first F, it's an acronym. So the first F stands for family. So what you want to do is you're building a bridge with somebody. You're asking, and this is a little bit more difficult to do on YouTube because and you guys are listening, but usually I like using a real person to kind of show how this works with. So there's FORM, and so family is the first one, and basically you just want to find out, you want to find out a couple of things. You want to find out, one, if they're single or if they're married. Why do you want to find out if they're single or they're married? Because if they're married, then that may be your businesses, because a lot of times spouses can be your objection. Because if you're talking to somebody, they're really excited about whatever it is you're promoting, the spouse gets involved, and the spouse says, no, 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 no. So you want to find out if they're single or they're married. It's a little tricky in how to find this out, especially if you're a single male, asking the question. You don't want to come off right off the bat, you're meeting somebody off the street, say, hey, are you married? Because so, you can ask questions like, are you originally from, in my case, Arizona? My answer would be no. I moved out here because of my husband. So that alone would answer the question. The person asking me the question would say, oh, she's married, she moved here from Arizona. The other question you want to find out, depending on what it is you're marketing, is where are they originally from? So the person would be asking the question, well, where are you from if you just moved here to Arizona? Well, I'm originally from Los Angeles. Oh, that's great. I know somebody in Los Angeles, build a bridge, find something in common. Finding things in common with people really helps build a trusting relationship. People like themselves. People like themselves. So find out where they're from, if they're married, do they have kids? Because if they have kids, then hold them back. You can find out where you fit in marketing-wise, depending on what you're marketing, and that's going to help you tremendously. And if you find out they're from Los Angeles, because a lot of times, depending on what you guys are marketing, that may either open up more business for you or it may close you down. So it's good things to know, because by forming individuals, you find out their objections before they have their objections. I hope that makes sense. By forming somebody, you find out their objections before they actually are telling you their objections. One of the things is that if you do this right, and if you're doing a presentation, whether it's via YouTube, whether it's in person, in front of a room, by the end of the presentation, you're going to have covered their objections. The second one is O, form. The second one is O, for occupation. Find out what they're doing right now, especially if you're in network marketing and you're trying to build a sales organization. You're going to have to find out what it is they're doing right now. What do you do for a living? Now, there's a couple of things I want to talk about right here, because it's really important, and this goes back to the voice. If you ask me, what do I do for a living? I'm going to answer real simply. And then if you ask me to elaborate, I write books. I'm a copywriter. I'm a freelance journalist. So I write for a living. That's what I do for a living. I write for a living. That's going to be my answer if people ask me. Now, let me share something with you guys, because I'm seeing a lot of this happening right now. I'm seeing a lot of, especially network marketers, saying they're actually literally making fun of people who have a job. Stop the madness. Stop doing that, because one, you're making yourself look like an asshole. Nobody wants to be made fun of. Don't talk negatively about anything that somebody else is doing. If they have a job, even if they hate it, even if it's the worst thing that they've ever done, they hate it, they can't stop complaining about it, don't talk negatively, because what you're looking like is an arrogant asshole. So I'm just putting that out there on the table right now. I have not worked in a job for 5 years. I left corporate America 5.5 years ago. And I don't like working for other people. I hate having an employer, because I don't want to traffic and, spend 2 hours a day in traffic and deal with my coworkers. So I love working from home. I love the freedoms of working from home. I do right now work for other people. I'm a journalist, so I technically do have a boss. I work for this individual. I have to do things that fall under the mandate of this person's business. I'm not going to name anything, because I do write for a couple of different. So I do, in a sense, have a boss. There's other things that I do. Even as a novelist, I work for people. I have a publisher. I have a publicist. I have different people who are kind of gearing me towards what direction to go. The only difference is I do it from the comfort of my bedroom instead of going to an office. I love living, and a lot of people love their jobs. There's a lot of jobs out there that are fantastic that people love, and I don't understand out there individuals, especially on Facebook, knocking the other people that have a job. Guess what, guys? You may have hated what you did, but not everybody does, and now you've bad taste in the marketplace for other people who may have listened to you otherwise, but now they're saying, why am I going to listen to this guy because all they can do is talk crap about what I do for a living, which is a job. And I have to tell you right now, you're probably saying, well, I'm not saying it to, but you and I both know that on Facebook, on Twitter, on Google, whatever the social media outlets are, people are hypersensitive. They are automatically taking what you say, and they're going to take it personally. And it's because there's no tone on Facebook. There's no personal relationship. We didn't sit down and have coffee together last weekend, so we don't have that relationship built. You're literally just words behind a computer screen. And you'll probably notice that the relationship you have with individuals on Facebook or Twitter or whatever social media outlet you use, if you actually know them in person and you hang out with them in person, your tone with them on Facebook is actually a lot different. You're not as confrontational. You don't afraid of offending them because you value that relationship more. And if you're saying, I don't do that, oh, okay, fine, you don't do that. Most people act that way. They value the relationship they have with individuals, that they have a personal relationship more than they do with somebody they've met on the internet. Most people do that. And so what happens is that because you don't have this personal relationship with individuals, is they're automatically going to take your tone in the most negative way. So when you're writing something, no matter how well you intend it to sound, maybe the most positive tone you can, because the individual on the receiving end is still going to receive it in the most negative way. I don't know if that makes sense. I've had people would say something like, yeah, sure. And I'm saying, yeah, sure, that sounds good. And they're messaging me saying, what's with the attitude? Did I upset you? It's so hard to read tonality on the internet. So when you guys are saying things like no more paycheck to paycheck, or no more, having to deal with a boss, or all these different things, it's much different to say it if you're on a video, your mannerisms, they can hear your tone, they can they need to see if you're saying something like this. If you're delivering a message via internet, you have to be much you're delivering that message. So hopefully that kind of went off on tangent. So O-inform is occupation, find out what they do for a living. When you find out what they do for a living, there's two things you need to find out too. The first one is, what do they like best about what they do? And what do they like least about? And this is especially effective if you're a network marketer, because if you find out what they like most, what do I like most about what I do? My creative energy. That's what I like most. Story, and I love that story being read by readers, and I like to hear feedback. I love people getting involved in my creative, artistic work. If you ask me what I like least about what I do, I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to answer that because I really do love everything I do. The thing that I like least about what I do is probably going to be something like the cutthroatness of the business, and even the other industries. The journalism part is. Now, if you ask me this question, what do you like most about what you do? You would have seen what you like least about what I do. And I was kind of like, yeah, I kind of like everything I do. It's important to hear what people are saying via words, but mostly what people are communicating is actually not through words. Only 7% of what we communicate is actually verbal. Most everything else we communicate is through body language, and that goes back to the whole internet marketing thing, communicating via internet. You have to be very careful with the words you choose, because where we're accustomed to in real life communicating, where 93% of what we communicate is not via words, and then we move 100% of what we're communicating is via words, there's a shift that has to happen in your communication ability, and you have to be very conscientious of what you're saying. And if you were talking to me personally and I said, well, what I like most about what I do, I answered quickly, what do you like least about what I do? It took me some time. That's going to tell you something. It's going to tell you I'm actually happy with my career choices. And I've actually had people approach me and say, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a writer. Okay, well, change that. Don't they assume that I don't want to do that anymore? And then they start talking about all the things they love about their business, and a lot of times it's travel. Oh, wouldn't you like to travel? My answer to that is actually going to be no. I already travel a lot, and I'm trying to cut back on how much I travel, which is never going to happen because of what I do, but I already travel a lot in my field. I'm a homebody. I work from home, in my bedroom. I love being home with my family. So these things, because it really helps to understand where the person's coming from. The third one is R for recreation. What does this person like to do for fun? Recreation is, that's it, recreation. What do you do for fun? So if you ask me, I like to go to the movies with my husband or with my I like to cook, and I love to read. Those are the things that I personally like to do for fun. Oh, and I love to shop. I'm a shopaholic. You can always find me either at the mall, Nordstrom, shopping online. And so if you build that into whatever it is you're promoting. Motivation is the most important thing, is to find out what their why is. So hopefully throughout asking the family occupation, you're able to figure out what their why is. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But for me, if you were talking, I have a son, I have a 5-year-old, I'm a novelist, you will know that my why is going to be my family, it's going to be my freedom, my time freedom to be able to work from home, to release my creative energy. And what you're promoting to me. Usually I like using somebody else in them, but because I don't have anybody, I use myself as an example. So in return, I end up talking to myself way more than I wanted to give you guys an idea of how to form an individual. Now, how do you integrate this into your internet marketing? On this really quick, and then I'm going to stick, and then we're going to wrap it up. Because I know you guys are busy. How do you integrate this into your internet marketing? It's difficult to integrate. If you should have some sort of email list. I use Aweber. I know some people use GetResponse. I don't care what you use, just as long as you're using some sort of autoresponder. And ask the questions. It's important to ask these questions. Use your social media to actually ask questions. I find that a lot of people on social media are throwing up information. If you find out that you ask questions, it doesn't matter what it's about, to create that dialogue with your audience. One, you're increasing your Facebook and your internet rankings, or your Google rankings, depending on what you're on, because you have acting with your social media. Two, you actually get to find out what kind of audience you have, and that'll help guide what you're going to be writing. And the third thing is that you're be able to customize your marketing plans towards your important thing, and that's why branding is really important. And I'm sure you guys all know about branding. It doesn't matter what field you're in, you should be branded. And I have a lot of friends who are authors, and it was funny because when I first came into in a couple of years, I didn't really expect them to know what branding was. I thought, like, this is a sales and marketing thing. They're not really going to get that. And I was actually understand branding. They've branded themselves, and it's no surprise that these are the individuals who are successful in their fields. they have branded themselves as authors, and I was really, really impressed. So I'm glad to see that there's people outside of our industry who are integrating that into what they do. Branding is heard. If you go to thebloggoddess.com, you're going to see there's a very specific brand to what it is I do. It's definitely very female, it's very feminine, and it reflects on my personality, because when I write an email out, I want people to hear that message coming through. It's under my brand. If you're somebody who, maybe you're an outdoorsy person, and you kind of are, tell it like it is type of person, that should be integrated into your brand. Branding is a whole other episode, and like I said, this is the first in the series. And now that I did the first in the series, I want you guys to give me your feedback, because I really want to gear these towards what you are looking for. Whether it's objections, I have a series coming up where I'm actually going to be covering how to overcome objections, which is probably my most popular and how to overcome objections. I can do things like building relationships, how to actually do your 30-second commercial, all these different things. So you guys let me know what it is that you're interested in hearing about. And how do you let me know? You can either send me a message on Twitter, at my Twitter handle right here. You can send me a message and just let me know that way. Once you subscribe to my email list on thebloggoddess.com, then you will get my free marketing PDF, and then you can just reply once you get that and say, you know what, on your next series, just let me know this is what I want to do. If you guys have any questions so far, it doesn't have to even be about form. It can be about anything at all. Go ahead and send me a message on Twitter, my Twitter handle right now. I'm literally checking it live while we're on air. And let me know if you have any specific questions or comments on anything that you want me to cover, any obstacles you're having or anything like that. And if you guys notice that I have my little logo right here, this is actually right here is the cover of my new book coming out. And it's called The Good, the Bad, and Ugly of Sales and Marketing, and it's going to be out this fall. And you can actually pre-order it right now by going to www.theaccidentalwriter.com. That's my author website, www.theaccidentalwriter.com. And you can pre-order it. And what I'm doing is I'm doing it for the first 500 people that place an order. They're going to get a signed copy. But also I'm doing that the first 500 people that place an order, I'm going to actually add you to a Good, Bad, and Ugly group that will be created probably within the next 60 days. And you're also going to be entered for free coaching. So let me know if you guys are interested in the free coaching. If you are, and we'll figure out how to do that. We'll do that specifically for those who order, just as a thank you. We'll do something as far as that goes, whether it's via webinar or one-on-one. I haven't figured out the details yet, but we'll figure it out depending on what you guys want. So let me know what you're interested in. The book itself, I had a couple people ask me to talk about it. The book itself is basically going to be a really to-the-point, blunt book on sales and marketing. If you guys want super motivational, if you like to feel good about what you're reading, then, there's books like this. There's hundreds of books that are out there that are feel-good, sales, marketing, self-development, personal development books out there. I've read most of them. I love them, and I still read them. But if you're looking for something, and if you're like me and you're at the point in your career where you're like, you know what, I don't want the fluff. I want the real stuff. I want to know what it's really like. I want to know the nitty-gritty of the industry. I need to know the bad and the good. I don't want to just know all the stuff that could happen. I want to know the stuff that I don't want to know either, if that makes sense. Then this is the type of book that's going to be like for you. And then I'm going to be talking about things like the form in there, and I'm going to be talking about things like overcoming objections, and you're going to walk away with actual applicable things as well. The last section of the book is going to be actually developing your plan, which is something that's really important, because I think a lot of people do business plans for their companies, for their businesses, but they don't do it for themselves. You need a marketing plan, a business plan for your life. The last section of the book is actually going to be kind of like a workbook where you actually get to develop your plan. In the last section of the book, literally, you're going to be able to write notes in your book and actually develop to have your 25-year personal plan completed. Yes, 25 years. It's that detailed. And I personally have gone through this myself. I loved it, and I'm excited to bring this to the table because I haven't been able to do this with too many people, so I'm happy that I can do this now via a book. The first section of the book is going to be about sales and marketing techniques, so things like form and overcoming objections and stuff like that. And then the second section of the book is actually going to be about the network marketing industry. And it's not going to be in the network marketing tech stuff that you're thinking of. It's not going to be just how to build the stuff that top leaders don't want you to know about. And the reason I know about them is because I'm a journalist for the industry, and I get to know a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, talking to CEOs of corporations and things like that. And these are things that if you really want to make it to the top of the industry, you need to know about. And it really helps define whether this is an industry for you or not. So that's going to be the second section of the book. The first one, like I said, sales and marketing techniques, and integrate into the whole thing. It's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's going to be the good in the industry, the bad stuff in the industry, the ugly part of the industry, because it's definitely out there. I'm just going to check my phone real quick to see if I have any other tweets. I do, but let me see if it's regarding this. Hopefully this has helped you guys. Like I said, this is kind of the first one-off thing. I kind of just wanted to do a little bit of an introduction to this series that's coming up. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback from individuals in the past. For those of you that work with me, you know that I kind of am a tell it like it is person. I don't believe in hiding the truth from individuals. I don't believe in hiding the truth from my sales team. If something's going on, I'm honest with them. And I found that it actually builds a really good relationship, and they're actually really honest with me as well, because they come back to me and they say, you know what, this isn't working for me, or I don't like this. And there's a little bit of a balance, because you don't want them to completely fall into this nothing's working for me state. But I find that I actually have very self-motivated, very low-maintenance, self-sufficient people in my sales organization, people I couldn't have asked for, better individuals to work with. And I think a lot of it has to do with the type of approach that I've taken over the years, and kind of that very free way of letting people work by themselves. So I don't see any other tweets or messages coming through. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm giving it kind of a second. Nope, so it's just updates and stuff. So like I said, go to thebloggoddess.com, subscribe to my emails. You'll get the free marketing tips. I'm looking forward to working with you guys a little bit more. If you're catching a recording of this and it still applies, go ahead and still go to my website and respond there. You can send me a tweet either way. And let me know if any of this has helped you guys, or if there's anything specifically that you want to know about, or if it didn't help you, you said, you know what, that sucked, I didn't get anything out of it. I want to hear that too. I want to hear how it went for you. So I look forward to talking to you guys again in a few time to spend with me on this hangout this evening, and hope you have an awesome rest of your Wednesday evening.